Welcome everyone. I am Dr. Manoj Kumar Sharma, Associate Professor, IITS College of Pharmacy, Muradnagar. This is lecture number 22 and continuation of unit 3, and the topic for this lecture is graph, and it is the part 1 of graph topic. The course of this lecture is Bachelor in Pharmacy and the subject is Biostatistics and Research Methodology, and the code is BP 801T. The university is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow. So, now we start graph. The content or objective of this lecture is we read about histogram and pie chart. Histogram. So, first is histogram. What is histogram? Histogram, it is a representation of frequency distribution by means of rectangles whose widths represent the class intervals and whose area are important to the corresponding frequencies, and it look like this, and this is a histogram. So, in histogram the rectangles are adjacent to each other. We remember the rectangles are continuously adjacent to each other, and in rectangles the frequency we take on y axis and the class interval of the variable we take on x axis. For example, this histogram is shown the distribution of snapshot data taken from a process. So, here we take the class interval of the variable, variable may be height, weight, temperature, the body height, body weight, also the variable. So, histogram is a representation of frequency distribution by means of rectangles of a continuous variable, and the area of the rectangle represents the data. So, in histogram the height or length and breadth or width of the rectangle are important for us, and the data can be represented by the area of the rectangle, and all the rectangles are adjacent to each other. The mathematical definition: in more general mathematical sense, a histogram is a function mi that counts the number of observations that fall into each of the disjoint categories known as bins. Let n be the total number of observation and k be the total number of bins, then the histogram mi meets the following condition: n equal to I raised summation of mi, where I 1 to k. What are the parts of histogram? Histogram are made of 5 parts. When we draw the histogram or when we prepare a histogram, these main 5 points to prepare a histogram or to draw a histogram. First, title. We should write a title, briefly describe the information that is contained in the histogram. This is the first and important part of histogram. Second, horizontal on x axis. The horizontal or x axis shows you the scale of values into which the measurements each. For example, we have variable age. So, the unit for age is years, and for example, if we have variable temperature, then the unit may be Celsius or Fahrenheit. Then the third part of the histogram is bar. The bars have two important characteristics, height and weight. The height represents the number of times of the value within the interval occurred, that means frequency. So, on y axis we take frequency of and the width, that means width of the or length of the rectangle represents the value of the variable, and the width represent length of the interval covered by the bar, and it is same for all bar. We remember generally in histogram we form histogram with equal class interval. So, the width of the bar is same for all rectangles. Next is vertical or y axis. The vertical or y axis is the scale that show you the number of times the value within an interval occurred. That means, अगर हमारे पास 0 to 10 interval, so in 0 to 10 interval if we have 3 person, so the 3 is the value on y axis and 0 to 10 on x axis. So, the vertical or y axis is a scale that shows you the number of times the value within an interval occurred. The number of times is also referred to as frequency, and the another important thing is legend. Legend provides additional information that documents where the data came from and how the measurements were gathered. So, now what are the steps of histogram? First step, count the number of data points, then summarize on a tally sheet. First we count the total number of data point, then summarize into tally sheet, that means we prepare the frequency distribution and compute the range. To draw the frequency distribution, we form the class intervals, and to prepare or form the class interval, we first compute the range, then we compute the number of intervals, then we compute number width, determine the interval starting points and count the number of points in each class interval. After that, we plot the data and add title and legend. So, these are the main 9 steps to prepare a histogram. First, we count the total number of data points, then summarize all data points in a tally sheet, then compute the range of our data, that means what will be the minimum and what is the maximum value of our data, that means outliers difference the and range of our data will be equal to the largest value minus smallest value of our data. We compute with the range with this 3, then we determine the number of intervals, how many intervals we should take in a data, it depends upon study or the range of the data. Then we compute the interval width, that is the for example, if we have a class interval 10 to 20, then the computer width is 10, and if we have a class interval 10 to 15, then the width of interval is 5. And then we determine the interval starting points, that means for example, in some cases we start from 0 and in some cases we start from 20, it depends upon the data, and then we count the number of points in each interval and plot the data and add the legend, a title. Consider that we have the following set. For example, we have these value 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. So, the numbers in the set are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the numbers 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 we take 1 here on x axis, and the frequency of 1 is 1. So, the times appearing is the frequency, we take it on y axis, and 2 appears 2 times. So, frequency of 2 is 2, and 3 appears 4 times. So, the frequency of 3 is 4, and 5 is frequency is 1, and 6 is 1. So, we can graph this data set like this. But in this example, the minimum value is 1 and maximum is 6. So, range is 6 minus 1 5. So, it can be defined with the each number, but if the range is very high, then we cannot draw the diagram, such type of diagram. For example, consider the data set 3, 11, 12, 19, 22, 23, 24, 25 up to 49. So, here each observation is not repeated as 45, the 49 are not repeated as in previous example. We see the each observation is repeated, or 2 or 3 observations are repeated. So, we draw the this type of diagram. Here 3 repeated, 4 repeated, but in this data, the data have a range and not repeated each score or each observation. So, we cannot draw the diagram as in previous example. So, in this example, we will prepare a histogram. So, how we prepare a histogram? Instead of bin the data are converted into convenient range, in this case with a bin width of 10. We can easily group the data as below, and we can construct a histogram as below. So, first we range our data 0 to 10, and 0 to 10, if you see here, the maximum value is, I again tell you, 49, and minimum value is 3. So, range is 46, and the minimum value is 3, maximum is 4. So, we were 49. So, we are moving from 3 to 49, and to form a class interval, we divide value from these 46 range into some width, and it very easy to take 10. We also take it 5, that means we can take a class interval 0 to 5 or 0 to 10. So, here width is 5 and width is 10, but if we take width is 5, then to cover this 46 range, we need 9 class of interval, more than 9 class interval, and if we take width 10 and the class interval is 10, we need only 5 class interval. So, when prepare a class interval width, it should be not large and not small. So, for this we prepare a class interval 0 to 10, and we find the number of observation lies between 0 to 10 is only 1. So, 0 to 1, 0 to 10 is 1, and when we noted 0 to 10, the 10 not include in this group, this class interval. In 0 to 10, 10 is not included in this. In 10 to 20, the number of observation are 10 to 20 are, this is 1, 2 and 3. These 3 observation lies between the class interval 10 to 20. So, 10 to 20, the number of observation are 3, and from 20 to 30, 20 to 30, in 20 to 30 the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, the frequency for 20 to 30 is 6, this is 6. Similarly, we find the 30 to 40, 30 to 40 is 30 to 40, 1, 2, 3. So, 30 to 40 is 3, 30 and 40 to 50 are 2. So, this is the frequency. Now, to draw the histogram, we first draw x axis and y axis. First we draw x and y axis. On x axis we take variable, and here variable is the scores or data bins. Data bins is the variable, and the data bin range is 0 to 10, 10 to 20. As you know, here is origin. So, this is 0. Now, this first point is 10, next is 20, next is 30 and next is 40 and so on. So, this is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. The frequency is goes from 1 to 6. So, we take here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, on y axis we take one observation. So, 1 centimeter here show, or if you plot the histogram on graph. So, 1 centimeter show one observation, and here 1 centimeter show 10. Now, we 0 to 10 is 1. So, 0 to 10 and the point is 1, and we form a rectangle. Similarly, 10 to 20, 10 to 20 are 3, the point is 3. So, we move like this, and this is the 10 to 23 next rectangle, and we form all the rectangles, and this is the histogram. Another term is we will read in this lecture, pie chart or pie diagram. Pie chart or pie diagram is also known as angular diagram or circular diagram, and it is not a graphical representation of data. Pie diagram are more properly used for presenting breaking down of data, and it is used for generally qualitative data. When our data is in qualitative nature, then we present the data with the help of pie chart. For example, students of a particular college may be put in 3 categories: science students, commerce students and arts students. So, this can be represented by the pie chart. Or exports of India may be classified as to USA, Europe, Middle East, countries, Africa, etc. The pie diagram can be effectively used to show these categories or breakdowns. So, pie chart is a circular representation of the data or angular diagram of the data, in which we classify or categorize the qualitative data with the help of diagram. A pie diagram therefore is a circle divided into component sectors to present the proportion of different constituent part to the total. As such, a pie diagram is shown in the percentage terms. The steps in the construction of pie chart: the first step, find the value of each category or component or group as percentage of total of all categories or component or groups. Second, calculate the degree of the angle formed by each category or component or group by the formula given below. The pie chart, the degree for particular category or component group, theta equal to value of the group divided by the total of all the groups into 360 degree. Then we take a circle of suitable size and draw the radius. Now, draw the angles calculated in Step 2, with the help of a protractor, shade or color different segments suitably or more, make the distinction between different categories or components of group. For each category or component or group, put the percentage in the pie chart. For example, from the monthly budget of an industrial worker of Mumbai industrial area, it was found that the family spent rupees 360 on food, rupees 108 on clothing, rupees 90 on housing, and rupees 24 on comforts, rupees 12 on the education and entertainment, and rupees 6 on miscellaneous items. Construct a pie chart. So, for this we are arrange the data in tabular form and complete all the steps mentioned above. So, first we write for food the expenditure is 360, and for this we calculate the theta, and the theta for food is equal to 360 upon total. The total is 600 into 360 degree. This is the formula. So, 360 by 600 into 360 is 60. Similarly, we calculate the theta for clothing 108 upon 600, 108 upon 100 into 360, and this will be equal to 64.8 degree. For housing 60 by 600 into 360 degree, this will be equal to 54.4 degree, and for comforts 24 by 600 into 360 degree, this is 14 degree. You can calculate directly or you can calculate with the help of percentage. In the percentage, we first take 360 upon total into 100, then this is the percentage items. So, you can either directly 360 by 60 into 360 or with the help of percentage. So, first we find all these angles, and then we draw the circle appropriate radius, and with the help of protractor we draw the angles for each sectors, and this is the pie chart. Thank you.